welcome back. In this video I'm going to show you how to make this really cute Hello Sunshine cutting board with my Cricut and a clear glass cutting board that I got from the Dollar Tree. These were over on the wall in the kitchen section where these spatulas and cooking utensils are. So yeah, that's where they are located. Now in the video, and I'm sorry that I did not include this step in the actual tutorial, but in the video I show you how to do the Hello Sunshine in the middle, and then at the end, you know, I decided that I wanted to embellish it just a little bit more. So you'll see what I'm talking about in the video when I'm saying coasters. But the little sunshines that I delete in the video, I just went back and I used those. I shrunk them down to be 1 inch in size. I cut them out on my Cricut, and then I just cut them in half and then applied them on here. So, yeah, that's what I did. Isn't that cute? These make really, really awesome housewarming gifts. You can do any kind of design that you want on these, monograms, you know, whatever. But I'm going to shut up and we will get into the tutorial. Okay, y'all. So let us get started with this. Usually I have my Cricut hooked up to my computer or my laptop, but I could not fit all of that into my screen here. So I'm running it through Bluetooth through my iPad just for the purpose of this video. And I do have the Cricut Design Studio app open. Up at the top where it says categories, I typed in coasters because, you know, I wanted a round decal to go on the cutting board. And I scrolled down and I saw this that I really liked, and I had a little green block on it, which means the template is free, which makes it even better. And once you open up a project, if you just scroll down, it tells you a little bit about the project, everything that you need, how to put it together, and also tells you the size. Okay, this one is 10.5 inches. That's a lot bigger than what I need, because if you look at the cutting board, you see the little pegs here, the little legs that protect your table. Between these is roughly 6.5 inches diameter of working space that I have. So I'm going to need to shrink this item down. And if you need to change anything, you can look at the bottom here and it will say customize or make it. So I'm going to hit customize and just give it a second to open up. Okay, and there is the project. I'm going to use this. I'm not going to use these coasters, so I'm just going to touch them and then X out and get rid of them. Okay, now you see the numbers across the top. Those are the inches, and those inches correspond to the inches across your cutting mat. So what you see on here is really, you know, what's going to be on your vinyl, on your mat. I hope I'm explaining this okay for y'all. And I need to make this smaller. So I want to shrink it down. You just tap it, and you see this little blue dot down in the bottom right-hand corner. I'm just going to shrink it down till it's the size that I need. I'm trying to get it up in the corner here. There we go. I'm going to shrink it down to right around maybe 5.25 inches, something like that. Okay, so that looks good to me. So now what I'm going to do is come down here to this little green dot and I'm going to hit make it. And now you can see what the project will look like laid out on your mat. You see that right there? I mean, that looks just like your mat here. And I already have a scrap of yellow vinyl. It looks kind of rough on the corners. It's just a scrap that I had lying around. I already have a scrap pressed down onto my light grit map here. Now, because we're going to be putting this on the back of our cutting board, we need to flip it around so that, you know, like you're putting an iron-on a shirt, you know, you want to print everything backwards. So what you're going to do is look over here. See where it says mirror for iron-on? Just click that, and it automatically flipped our image over backward, okay? Because if you don't, and you put it on the back, when you flip your cutting board around and read it, it's gonna be reading backward. So you need to flip that backward. Okay, and that looks good to me. So I'm going to hit continue. And this can take it just a second. Or a few seconds. We're just waiting. I'm not a patient person. This is the part that I don't like. Oh my God, I hate waiting. Okay, so there we go. Okay, now we want to set the material. I'm going to click vinyl. And now you can see the little light down here is flashing for us to load our vinyl into the machine. I'm going to back the camera out here. I have my fine point blade in clip number B, letter B. Oh my God, it's not a number. B is not a number. At least I don't think it is. Okay. Now you see the little go light over here is flashing. It's going to tell you to press go here, and then press go over there. You give it a moment and it will start cutting. It does take it a second because it detects if you have the correct blade in or not, and then it'll start cutting. And this is going to take a few minutes to cut, so I'm not going to bore you with that. Now you can see how the machine actually works. So I'm going to pause the video right here and give it a few minutes to cut out the image, and then I'll come back and I'll show you what else you need to do. Alrighty, so it was done cutting and it spit out my mat here, and this is what we're left with. I know it's kind of hard to see, but now what we're going to do is just peel the vinyl off and just set your mat over to the side for now. And now I'm just going to remove the bulk of the vinyl. Okay, I'm just going to peel that away from the backing. And you do this however you can. I mean, it can be a little tricky. So you just peel that away. Try to be as slow and careful as possible. If you see that like a little cutout piece of your vinyl is sticking to the big part of the vinyl, just gently try to press it back down. If you're using like a good sharp blade in your Cricut, you really shouldn't have a problem. There we go. Now I'm just going to trim off a little of the excess white here. It just gets on my nerves. It gets on my nerves, all that stuff flopping around. So I'm going to trim it off. Okay, now we're going to do what they call weeding. Okay, and what that is, weeding is, crap. You take this little weeding tool, it's like a dentist hook, and you go in and you remove all of the tiny little pieces of vinyl that you're not going to be using. So in this case, I'm going to try to do this so y'all can see it. I'm sorry if the angles are bad. You just want to gently lift up a piece of the vinyl that you need to remove, and then you just peel it away. I'm not going to be using that. Okay, now we're going to do the letters. Okay, so just peel. Just start where part of the letter has been cut by the blade, and then just gently lift it up with your little tool here, and then remove it. Okay, and that's all that you do with that. I'm going to do that for the rest of the letters, and I'll pause the video so I don't bore you guys to death, and then once I'm done, I'll come back and show you what to do next. Okay, so I have all of my letters picked out there. So now the next step is you want to apply what's called transfer tape. Okay, now this is the Cricut brand transfer tape. It comes in a roll like this. It's just a big sheet of really, really sticky clear paper. Okay, now a little trick that I've been using is you don't have to use the Cricut brand. You can actually use clear contact paper, you know, like the stuff that you cover your like you line your kitchen shelves with, and you can find that at the Dollar Tree. It works very well for this plain vinyl. It will not work for the glitter vinyl. You do kind of need the extra strong grip transfer tape from Cricut to use on the glitter kind, but for this kind, yeah, the contact paper will work. So what you do is you cut a piece of the transfer tape big enough to cover your entire little decal that you've made. And what I do is, to make sure there's no air bubbles or anything in it, I try to peel up a corner. Okay, and see how I'm just peeling up just a little bit of it. And then I apply that and then just work it over. Now what this does is this tape is going to pick up the vinyl and remove it from the backing so that you can apply it to your item, okay? Now, once you get the transfer tape down, you use this little tool here. It's called a burnisher, and well, they say like you burnish, which in actuality, all you're doing is you're just rubbing the transfer tape onto the vinyl just to make sure that it sticks. And I know that you're not going to be able to see this on film, but when you're looking at your item, you can see a visual difference from when the vinyl is actually stuck to the transfer tape to when it isn't. So like once you go over it, you can see a difference. It's really hard to explain. It's so hard for me to explain how it looks, but just know that when you're actually doing it and looking at it, you will be able to see a difference. Okay, and I believe that is pretty well stuck down. Now what I'm going to do is lift this off of my table, and once again I try to trim off a lot of this excess. It drives me nuts. There we go. Now you want to very carefully peel this white backing away from the transfer tape, and I like to lay mine down like this. Just be very careful as you do it, because like sometimes, like I've got a brand new blade in my Cricut, and sometimes it can cut through the back of the vinyl paper, and it can cause an issue with the backing sticking to the vinyl. I've seen a lot of people say that they have that problem, and if you're just really careful, see like that's sticking, it's okay. We can come back and fix it here just in a minute. So don't panic if that happens. You just do your best to get everything stuck down to your transfer tape. If you have to, just use your finger. You don't want to touch it a whole lot, because then that kind of removes the sticky from the back of your vinyl, and it may not stick down as well. There we go. Now you see a little bit of the backing has stuck to a few pieces of this vinyl. Whoopsie, I didn't mean to make that. So really all I do is just kind of pick at it with my little tool here, and then you can pull it up with a fingernail, which I cut mine short just lately because I'm getting back into playing guitar. I've missed it. I haven't played guitar in a while, and I've been missing it. So I thought I'd break them back out. My Les Paul was missing me. So there we go. And now this is what you have. Okay, so now we're going to get our... Let's see if I can move this so that the lights... I've got all my funky lighting hanging from the ceiling here. Now what you're going to do is just take this and center it. I'm going to have to stand up for this. I'm sorry. And just center it, you know, wherever you want it on your cutting board. And just place it down. And then you can take your little tool here and just go over it. Make sure that it's stuck down. Just like this. And then just gently peel up your transfer tape and gently, gently pull it away like this. And if you have any little air bubbles in your vinyl, which I see just a couple little air bubbles, you can take your little tool here, just gently kind of move them toward the edge. Just get them out of there. So it looks pretty good, and we'll flip it over. And there we have it. Hello, sunshine. Now I might cut out some more little doohickeys, little, I don't know, maybe like some little mini suns or something, and put some around the edge just to kind of fill it all in. I don't know. I might do that. I have to think about it. And if I do, then you'll, of course, you've seen that at the beginning of the video. But yeah, you can decorate it however you like. Yes, I see a couple little air bubbles. We'll just work those out with the little tool here. But yeah, I've been having a real good time with my Cricut, and a lot of people have been asking me if I can post, you know, like just some easy little projects for beginners to do. So that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm sorry if I was a little long-winded in this one. I try to get right to the point so that I don't bore people to death, but I hope that this helps somebody out. If you would, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Check me out on other forms of social media. I'll put the links to all of those in the description box down below. And I hope to see y'all next time for my next craft video. Bye-bye.